And here we are, another episode of Reboot It's Movie Mashup. We have Ed Greer, Ron Swallow, Billy Business. Gentlemen, we've had some doozies so far, some really out there ones. What's been your favorite so far?
Oof. Oh, this is hard. I'm going to go...
compelling content, Ron. Oof.
I'm going to go Expendables because it was so ridiculous.
Expendables was a good one. Ed, do you have a favorite one so far?
The one that was like the Bad News Bears, the Mighty Ducks. That one.
Oh,
was
yeah.
Nuts. That one was nuts.
You know what? I'm going to go with Mighty Ducks 2 now as well. I'm going Mighty Ducks.
Well, you know what? My favorite one is the one that we're doing right now because I don't even know what it is. I instinctively, before we started, I was about to say, like, which one are we doing, guys? That's the whole point of the show. We don't know. This is how the game works. We have a list of franchises. We have a list of movie genres. We randomly select one from each pile. Then we have 30 minutes to try to pitch a movie based on that crazy premise. Some of our pitches are like out of the ballpark, and some of them like just bunts. But you know what? It's fun to watch us try. So without further ado, gentlemen, are you ready?
So ready for everyone to subscribe.
Dude, I gave him a week. I gave him a note about a week ago on our The Greatest Pod podcast, which you should subscribe to. On The Greatest Pod, we were trying to do something, and I was like, "Just slip them in there, man. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. Just slip them in there." And he took that note and ran with it like Ben Johnson on steroids. so yeah, that's what you get. I created a monster, and I'm happy with it.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Here we go. Today's franchise is going to be Men in Black. We're going to be talking about Men in Black. The genre that we are going to be doing for Men in Black will be a World War II drama. Men in Black as a World War II drama. 30 minutes are on the clock. Here we go.
So Hitler is an alien.
Just stop the clock. We're done. It's over.
Dude, that would be
subscribe.
That would be the most simple way to do it. I would prefer to think that maybe Goebbels is an alien.
Yes, perfect. Goebbels, and he's part gerbil.
So I mean, there are a lot of things that could be going on, and so it was World War II, correct?
World War II drama.
And see, drama denotes that there's not as much super action in this that we have to actually deal.
I don't think so. I think when you're talking about a World War II drama, I still include Saving Private Ryan.
That's definitely a drama. You're right. It's not an action movie, even though it has a lot of action.
Right.
I stand corrected on that. All I'm saying is, I think we might have to deal with the emotional aspect of being infiltrated by aliens, because having it be drama rather than comedy per se. Like in a comedy, you sort of hand wave that the guy down at the 7-Eleven has been an alien the whole time, or the yada yada yada. You know what I mean? But in a drama, it's just like, my wife Mildred, who bore me 4 children, is an alien, and my children are holograms, and I'm a spy for the Germans. What's going on? You know what I mean?
2, mind you, not the Tudors. I'm not sure where I was coming from.
Look, there's only a few accents Ed can do. That's one of them, and then the sort of New Yorker Jew and Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, those are the 3. There's 3.
Okay, fair enough. So look, at this point, we can, this doesn't have to be a sequel or what. Like, we can make this whatever we want. So it's like, do you make this the origin story of the Men in Black?
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to say, do we even have to do with aliens?
Because it's Men in Black. The Men in
Black. I mean, the Men in Black could be anything.
The Men in Black deal with aliens. That's the whole point of it being a franchise.
That's fine. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, dodging that part. Hell, if the Men in Black are just I think the alien part is the only thing that makes it more than just the CIA in World War II. Because nobody cares about that either. They don't have fresh technology. We got to come up with a bunch of they hit a bomb in a pigeon gags or something. Or they hit a message in a dead rat and threw it under a bench. I mean, that's real spycraft. I don't want to deal with
I mean,
that. I think some aliens.
I think when you think of it, the Men in Black, you obviously think back to like the kind of the bigger aspects of it from, like Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. But I do remember a movie with Anthony Hopkins, and it was called Hearts in Atlantis. And he was kind of this older gentleman that had like supernatural powers, very subtle, and kind of his relationship. He was a boarder at like some mom was a single mom took him in, and he rented out a room in their house, whatever. And the Men in Black came for him at the end, but obviously it wasn't this. It was more CIA in the way that they portrayed the Men in Black. Still, they're coming for this guy because he has some sort of paranormal ability, but they treated this idea of Men in Black as much more sinister and governmental and covert. So like it is possible to kind of, there could be something interesting about, this Men in Black organization within the war, that people think that these are POWs that or something that they're trying to capture, but it could be something a lot more sinister. Like we can take it in a much more like, thriller way. To your point, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do that, but we could also still include the aliens. Is that like maybe the Men in Black are actually working with, like, normally they would stay above any world conflict, but this is starting to involve multiple, but it's starting to involve the aliens as well. Like I don't know, they're getting taken or et cetera, or trying to be talked into making weapons for the Nazis, something along those lines. And the Men in Black have to interfere.
Is it the Nazis have aliens and we have aliens, or maybe we have different aliens than the Nazis have? Like, because they're fighting their own thing and we're fighting our own thing, and they landed here and blah blah. It just something that it doesn't even have to be that cut and dried. I'm just saying, like, if there are, because like Hitler was trying all types of extra crap, magic, space stuff. He was trying everything.
Yeah,
right. Sure I was about to say, like, we also could be taking the World War II part a little bit too literally. Like there was stuff happening back here at home. I think
okay.
I would consider, even parts like the first act of like Captain America, the first one, as like a World War II drama where, he hasn't even left the United States at this point, but it's just like, that's where the world is. So there is something interesting to, not necessarily like directly, tied into, like, I'm not saying that, fucking Agent K landed in Normandy, but I'm saying like maybe something was happening back at home, during World War II. Like that's why I was like, I wonder if there's some sort of like, I just think there's something more interesting about the Men in Black being boogeymen, which they paid a lot of lip service to in that first movie, but they aren't,
So is the story like somebody who is an alien, like you talk about the Hearts of Atlantis, Jazz? Is it somebody is basically a beneficent alien, but because we're at wartime, because again, this is wartime, there's rationing going on, there's all sorts of borders, there's all kind of broke ass people in the streets and shit. At a certain point, we're just barely getting over the depression was 20 years ago. It ain't like it was a minute ago. It's not like it was 100 years ago. So all that stuff is happening in the 40s. So you have that, and you could have them be like just even a nice ass alien under suspicion for all types of stuff. The Men in Black get involved, but once they get involved and they capture him, what happens? Is it a cat and mouse for like an hour and a half of them trying to get away from him? And how do we sustain that? Or is it they capture him and he's not the German spy they thought he was? He's not this, he's not that, he's a damn alien. What are we going to do with this? Or have they encountered aliens before? Maybe that's the last question. Have these Men in Black actually encountered aliens before?
What if they
go ahead,
don't
man.
like aliens most of the time, and their main job is to, like, you know how like the Men in Black in the future are like cool with most aliens, like they all communicate and they're all kind of work together in harmony. What if at first our Men in Black just murdered, like just got rid of aliens, either kicked them off or actually took them out, and then this alien helps them with something and they realize it's like almost like a learning how to not be prejudiced theme, where they like actually, instead of judging him just on being an alien or her as just an alien, they actually find out that it's a nice being that could work with them, and they find out there's lots of nice beings all over the planet. And instead of, because especially in the 40s, everybody thought every alien that showed up, like, you know, all the stories about aliens are them coming down to Earth and killing everybody. And that shit, that still happens right now. So they would think that with what few aliens did show up. So maybe it's something along those lines, where like this is the beginning story of how the Men in Black became friends with aliens. And it just happens to be during World War II.
The parallel between like if aliens are this danger that need to be kept under, you know, the Men in Black, their kind of mission is to make sure that these aliens are basically eradicated. There is an interesting, if potentially slightly inappropriate, parallel between like the genocide happening in the actual war, and it's like, you guys think you're the good guys, but you're doing exactly the same thing to us that you're fighting overseas against. You know, like there is an interesting parallel there. I do like the idea of the Men in Black being a shoot first, ask questions later organization, and kind of the, you know, the idea that at some point down the road, the Men in Black almost becomes like this weird like DMV for aliens, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that too dark? I mean, it's a drama, so.
I mean, part of me likes that part, and also part of me likes just somebody within this system being trapped with an alien, and we have a good old fashioned Men in Black movie. Because a Men in Black movie, I know I'm not trying to be a stickler, but I'm just saying, a Men in Black movie, normally 2 people against the world. 2 people have more knowledge than everybody else in the world, and their cooperation will save the day, full stop. And had to have an alien and have a person be those 2 people in this particular adventure just seems kind of natural to me.
Great, but we also have to connect it to a World War II drama, right?
What the whole thing is, if they're in World War II having this adventure, obviously World War II is part of it, even if it's just us doing this adventurous thing to maybe save the world. Damn World War II problems, to save the entire world, where we have to do it in a submarine, and it just so happens it's a submarine battle at the time, or you know what I mean? Whatever is World War II can be an actual backdrop to, because the thing is, the thing I don't want, honestly, and I think is always super dumb, is these dudes did some stuff that saved us in World War II. That'd be the worst.
Agreed.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I don't think
We
like
can't do
the
that.
aliens developed the Manhattan Project.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just
we can't do that. No, that's terrible. That we should definitely not do that.
Okay, so let's say that the Men in Black organization has only been in existence since the beginning of the war. Maybe we're like a little bit into the war by the time that this movie starts. And it's because, like you said, Hitler has tried all these crazy things. And so this was kind of like the government's, like, you know, paranormal branch, so to speak, their X-Files.
Just real quick, could it be
yes,
us?
please.
And could it be us and the Russians? Because like the Russians were literally the first people in space, and they were doing weird stuff in space, or trying to do weird stuff in space before we even thought about it. So in this continuity, they could be part of, and they were our allies in World War II. No, they didn't fight with Germany. They were closer to our allies than they are presently in World War II.
Are you a Russian sympathizer right now, Ed? Is that what?
No, I said they were closer to our allies then than they are presently. That's what I said.
What if? Okay, so here's my thing. If it's going to be involved with World War II, and now I'm thinking even better is, what if, because if you think about like the shittiest human being in the history of our Earth, Hitler, he would also be killing aliens. What if we're starting to be friendly with aliens and he's getting in the way of that? And that's part of the World War II drama.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm a little with Ed in the sense of like, I don't want Hitler directly involved in this film. Put that on the poster.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it's more just like, Men in Black. That's just like, there's a reason why you don't see MIB agents in the movies that we have now, like with the president or something, because you're not supposed to know that they exist. So I think like, again, like any sort of like Quentin Tarantinoing the history of World War II seems like,
that's
sure.
true.
But there has to be this sense at the time, in at least in America. I'm thinking of World War II as more of like a backdrop, as opposed to.
But that's kind of. I'm sorry, but that's why I was saying earlier that like if the Men in Black are mostly honestly for spies and stuff, because it's like a fact. If you watch the History Channel, it's a fact that there were German agents over here doing hella intelligent stuff. You know what I mean? Just the same way that they supposedly had those Russian families that would learn how to speak English super good and practice in American places, come over here. German people had that at that time. So it's like there's all types of espionage and jazz, and there's all sorts of information that is hella valuable because we're entering only the second of this type of war ever. You know what I'm saying? And with these present technologies. So I would think that there would be a science division that would be put together to like monitor some of this super science or the super science of the time that was coming out. And I think if our Men in Black people think that this guy is a spy and then find out he's from another world and then have an adventure with him being in another world that does something on the outside of the war, I think that's fine. It just gets bigger and bigger. It gets bigger and bigger than they thought it was.
There is something interesting. Like what if they are tracking down, what if there's like someone that they suspect is a spy and they have a ton of inside information about a lot of different things that no one should know for both sides. And then they finally capture it and realize like, oh, this is an alien and you have technology that we've never even thought of. I think the initial thought would be to maybe strong arm them for their technology. But I like the idea that at the very end of this movie, somehow we end up building towards what we know of Men in Black, which is there's definitely a partnership between the humans on Earth and the aliens. But maybe it doesn't start that way. Maybe they capture this alien thinking it's a German spy,
Yeah, that works for me.
Or they just like they realize it's an alien and they completely use this person to, I don't know, try to get some sort of tactical advantage.
But dude, I think maybe they think they're a spy because that person is like, maybe that person is a spy. They're spying on Earth though. They're spying on like the major powers, right? So they would have to find out about German stuff and find out about American stuff because at this time they're the major powers. And in actuality, if you want to talk about military might, America was like third at that time. If you look back in the history books, we were like third. We went in there,
ramped it up,
swinging our wieners around, but really, like I said, not trying to sympathize with Russians, but real historians know the Russians did a lot to win World War
So what if it's not? What if we start the movie and there is no Men in Black? It doesn't exist. There's not a Men in Black till the end of the movie, but there is like a government, CIA, whatever, FBI, whatever you want to call it, is realize that there's some super spy out there. They're intercepting transmissions, and they're like, whoever the spy is, he has more data on both sides of the war than any of our top spies. Like, how is this possible? Then they intercept this person, and they realize it's an alien, which they never even fucking thought possible.
And how about this too? To add something into it, the Germans are also trying to capture him too. So it's a race to who captures him first, but then we find out that it's an alien at that point.
Yeah, maybe it's like this alien is doing recon and he's radioing back to like his planet or whatever, like Earth isn't ready yet,
Yeah.
Like this was a mistake. Like, pick me up, you know. These like literally, you guys dropped me in the middle of like a conflict, you know.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
I need to get out of here as soon as possible.
So then it could become this moral question for our Men in Black too. It's like, do we let this guy leave? If he's able to help us defeat our enemy with intelligence we've never known, why would we ever help him get back to his people?
And that's why the defiant act of the hero of the movie is to let him go, because they're saying that basically we got an alien slave that has all these dope ass technology we haven't even figured out. Like, he whistles and 5 spheres come up and make a laser grid. We don't know how to use any of this. We don't know how any of it works. He's the only master of it. We haven't had enough time to interrogate him, blah, blah. And he's just like, if we let him go, it'll be the pathway to so much more of that than we ever would have had. Shut up, dummy. And, you know, they're planning on basically enslaving homeboy, but the last act of our guy is to let him go. And with that is how we kind of, the aliens get the message that we suck, because that's, I'm not saying the bomb has to go off then. I'm just saying something that the guys have to do to let him escape. I don't know if it's as simple as a ship coming down to get him, because that would have happened already. They don't want to, on any level, let, you know what I'm saying? So his way of getting back up to space has to be something naturalistic that we have, like a rocket or something like that. We have to get the alien past all the guys who want to keep him on our side and the German side, get him in a rocket, get him shot up to basically at least orbit or near orbit, so that they can tractor beam him out of here or whatever. It's like a big event. You know what I mean?
And
I think what you do,
it could be a federation thing where, like, the rules are they can't get me on the ground. Like, they cannot, like, chance revealing
right
that aliens exist, and you have to get us up to a certain distance. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the best plane you have, we're going to have to get to the best plane you have to do that.
Well, I think,
and that's here.
The way that you end this, or kind of wrap it up, is that, you know, the alien tells the good agent, like, hey, you saved my life. There is good. I think you guys can be ready to join kind of this higher collective of like space consciousness, but you're not there yet. But if you set up, like, and we can like radio and communicate with you and help you set up, I think, and, you know, it'll be soon. But your government has shown that they're not going to want to cooperate. So you're going to have to do this in secret. And that's how the Men in Black starts, as a secret organization, because they tried to do this through the government, and the government wanted to just do it their own way, you know?
And the one thing we'll give you is this tool that makes people forget things.
That'd be ill. That's real. Like, the neuralizer, because like that's how the guy gets out of it after he's done all this crazy stuff. He has a neuralizer.
I'm an agent. Like, all these people know who I am, and he's like, they're not going to after you use this, but realize, like, if you choose to do this, like, no one will ever know who you are again. That's going to have to be the cost of us working together, you know? There's something poignant about that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they do that in the first Men in Black movie, kind of, but not really. But it's like, you have to throw your entire life away for something much bigger, and you have to be okay with that. You know?
And either way, this is the first guy to do that. This is the guy who pioneered having to do that. I mean, for real, this might be the first one where I got the actual chills of like, hey, man, they could like do this. You know what I mean? Like, it could get done. You know what I mean?
So I do think, okay, so we figured out, I think you're right. There has to be something in this movie to kind of create the conflict. Like, the Germans realize it too, that there's this guy, and maybe that's where, like, because it can't just be the conflict of, you know, this one guy versus the government, because I think for most of the movie, the government's like, yeah, protect him. It's not until you start to get to the end of the second act that you realize, like, oh, they're never going to let him go.
Exactly.
They're just going to use him. So there has to be, you know, maybe it is like German spies on American soil that are trying to, I don't know.
Well, I think the good guy,
Yeah,
and the good guy has to have like a. Remember when James Bond even in the first Men in Black, when they were trying to trap that dude and the dude was parkouring all over the place, or in James Bond Casino Royale, I think, when he was chasing that parkour guy and he was just having to take different routes because he couldn't parkour. Like our guy doing something dope like that to catch up with the alien dude, and then the Germans come around the corner and like it's a very clear thing. Shoot this guy who could be a spy and get him out of the way and shoot all these German guys. But he goes, pushes that guy out of the way and shoots the Germans. And that's the first maybe inkling that this alien has had, that people aren't all the way terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So then at the end, this maybe is like Agent A, you know, he only leaves his first initial left at the end, and that's how the Men in Black are formed, was to basically I like the idea, because when we now know where eventually it will end up, it's like the Men in Black, as it starts in World War II, the mission is to get us ready to be able to interact with aliens, but we're not there quite yet.
Yeah, it's the first step towards building the infrastructure of having that DMV for them to dock at and all this different jazz. And again, having to have a neuralizer, and that maybe the neuralizer has a dual communication component or something like that, whatever, you know, whatever, that's the thing. And from that little piece of technology, he and some smart people he's met along the way, you know, that he will pick from the agencies and stuff or whatever, and be like, because he can pitch it to them, and if they don't like it, then he can neuralize them. You know what I mean?
What if you find out later that that's why this alien is such a good spy, is because he's able to wipe the minds of anybody that's ever seen him or talked to him? So it's even more of like a feat that they were able to capture him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
This guy's moving around like a ghost, and no one has any information because no one remembers, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and the hero, that could be a dope way the hero captures the guy, is he sees that happen. Like he sees homeboy neuralize somebody, and he's the only one who sees it, so he's the only one who, like, you know, understands it, so that when homeboy whips it out on him, he's like, nope, you know, and he knocks out of the head or whatever. Yeah,
nice. I feel like a lot of the, you know, the second act, or a lot of this movie is a little bit of a cat and mouse game, where it's just like you're basically just trying to keep this alien alive and out of the hands of the Germans, who keep showing up to kind of try to either kill him or take him, you know?
Dude, I see a scene where they just barely get away, and one of those prop planes is like the Germans like blow up a proto nuke at some weird base that they were at. You know what I mean? Just something where it's like, these dudes were really trying to get you. They were really going all out. They had agents on foreign soil doing terrorist shit to try to get this guy. This is serious. This is the jewel of the war. We don't say that, but it is, you know.
Which I think maybe that's where our Agent A starts to realize, like, there's got to be something more to you than just you're a really good spy, you know?
And you have dope technology that we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, is this one a shapeshifter type thing, or is it a little guy driving a body? Like, I think the last bow we could put on this is like, what kind of alien is it?
I think it's a shapeshifter.
Could that be another way to be a super fresh spy?
Yeah, you know? I think shapeshifter makes the most sense. It's able to take on the form of humans and you know, maybe even just general human. He looks at a human, puts together all these things, and then now I'm German, so he can look like a German.
That's on the action figure. Now it's German. Yeah, I kind of think it's like, who was that character in Game of Thrones who could like kind of change his face? You know, like his body didn't totally change, so, you know, but I think it's a little bit more subtle. To me, it's like if it's a full shapeshifter, like could be, you know, like a kid.
It could be technology.
It could be. But I do like the idea of shapeshifter. I just like the idea of like it can kind of rearrange its fate. Yeah,
I think that's interesting, because that way they can always have a physical profile, like 6'2", usually dark hair. Everything else is negotiable. You know what I mean? Right. That's tight. That's tight. I like that.
Yeah, and there's just enough like teeny tiny movements where you're just like, I think that's what's more interesting is like he can change his face to be someone that you see every day 10 times a day, like
Yeah.
they say people like, oh, I just have one of those faces, like that's his gift, is like I can change my face into just one of those faces all the time, and you never quite, I'm right in front of your face. And that's honestly like the Men in Black thing. Is like I've been in front of your face a million times before.
And it makes sense on why he was sent in the first place. Like maybe that's one of his, like that's why he was sent, because that's his specific gift.
Right.
I like it.
And last things last, the last thing he does is show the hero his true face. Like that's the end, you know what I'm saying? Because it's symbolic of where I'm showing you my true face as two peoples communing. I'm showing you the truth. You know what I mean?
And then the hero throws up immediately.
He has to neuralize himself. Like, I don't want to remember that.
Forget about the face.
It's a Medusa. He just turns to stone, and that's how the movie ends. No, I think that's good, and I think you can kind of keep this like almost like I'm picturing almost like a kind of like a Stranger Things type of vibe to this story. A little bit more of like one of those like 80s kind of, like Amblin type of feeling, as opposed to like the straight kind of comedy of the Men in Blacks that we have now.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm loath to say that it's like an Indiana Jones because it's like brings up Crystal Skull illusions and stuff like that. But I'm saying like the best of the first and third Indiana Joneses, where it's dark but not heavy. You know what I mean? It's rollicking and moving so fast that we don't really explain too much, but there's a lot of lore in it still. You know what I mean? There's so much you learn about the staff of Ra and this and that, the city, and the light has to shine and all this kind of jazz, but it's breezily given to you after that first info dump by the two guys from the government. You know what I mean? Like keeping it on that sort of pace would be best, probably.
Yeah, but there's still drama because the world is in danger at this point. So I think it works out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the I think that's kind of the beauty of it too, is like this, like I think there can be some drama too. It's like if you have all this technology and all this ability, you could stop this fighting, with like one click of this button. You could neuralize Hitler and he wouldn't even know who he was. It's like, but that's not why I'm here. Like that's not for me to do. I think there's something interesting about that too.
Yeah, and it's not for you to do either, because if you think about it, the Men in Black don't do that with regular life. I don't think the Men in Black go neuralize Khomeini or whatever, whoever the hell, you know what I mean? I don't think that's what happens in the regular world. So it's like they're strictly in the purview of alien stuff because they're trying to make sure, like you said, that we're going to keep developing.
And that is time. We have Men in Black as a World War II drama at the height of World War II, back on American soil. Espionage is running rampant. We have a government, we'll call it the CIA, is trying to figure out there is an elusive spy that happens to know everything about our intelligence, but also German intelligence. They wonder if maybe they're working for a third party in all of this. This spy is always kind of like a 6'2" kind of guy, but no one can ever nail down the exact features. Somehow our hero, who will eventually be called Agent A, is able to track down this spy, outplay him, and captures him. It turns out that it's actually an alien from another planet. He has been sent here to see if Earth is ready for alien contact and to become part of the universe, the bigger universe. But he was dropped here unceremoniously on a mission in the middle of a war. He cannot get back home without the help of our, let's call it, our rocket technology. He basically got stuck here without an Uber back to the ship. All the while, the German spies are trying to get a hold of him to either kill the alien or to take them for their own means. The Agent A thinks that he's doing the right thing by protecting this alien and bringing him into his government. But what he realizes very quickly is that the government has nothing but ill intentions of how they're going to use this alien to not only end the war for themselves, but further their own agendas. They have no intentions of ever letting him leave to go back home, especially if he has valuable intelligence that could help them even past the war. That is when Agent A and this alien break apart from the CIA. They are now on the run from the Germans and their own country as the race begins to get this alien back to his home planet before they get on the rocket to send him back into orbit so his spaceship can pick him up. The alien tells Agent A, hey, I do think that, you have shown me that humans can be ready, but we're not there yet. But it's up to you to start preparing the world to be a part of something bigger. However, your government has shown they're not going to let you do it. So you're going to have to do it in secret. And thus, the Men in Black are born. He is gifted a neuralizer, and he says, if you choose to set this up in secret, you will have to erase your identity in the minds of everyone that knows you. And that is where we leave the movie, the beginning, Agent A of the Men in Black. Wow.
I actually think it's really good.
I think they could really make that. I really do. I think they could really
I really think so too. We started a little rocky, and then by the end it's like, wow, like I can actually see this. I think this one is one of our least ridiculous pitches.
It actually is.
And to be fair, that's not what the game is. The game is get a pitch. Some of them are going to be super ridiculous, but some of these, man, this one went right down the middle. I think they could actually, with a couple tucks and tweaks, make this into a thing, and those are great as well as the other ones.
You know what else would be great? If you leave a comment down below and subscribe.
I think the only thing that we didn't get in this 30 minutes is, will we get Will Smith to rap the plot of the movie in the end credits song?
100% we will.
Okay, good. We don't want to steer away too much from the moneymaker side of what made it popular. So that is Men in Black as a World War II drama. If you're just joining us for the first time on this episode, you can see how we are just dealt the hand that we are dealt, and we make the best of it. And this is one of those times where I think we made something really cool. I want to thank Ron Swallow. I want to thank Ed Greer. I'm Billy Business. Thank you guys for watching. Do all the things that Ron says, so he'll just stop talking about it. And I will see you guys next